Secret, the worst kept secret is the Dallas Cowboys riding their 3 game win streak into week 17 for a win or go home matchup with the New York Giants. The number one key ingredient to their success has been their +9 advantage in turnover margin. They've taken away the ball from the opponent 10 times, and they've protected the ball and given it up only once. And their defense and their special teams has contributed to that. And they deserve a lot of credit for attacking the football, giving their offenses short fields. You see here the first drive of the game against Cincinnati. DeMarcus Lawrence has been playing some lights out football, able to get the ball out, punch it out of Gio Bernard, his grasp. Dallas has a short field. They're able to go up early, 3-0. It's a great start. Get them a comfortable lead. Then they come back the very next drive. They get the ball. Cincinnati is driving in scoring territory, and they cough it up again. This is pretty much unforced. Dallas takes it all the way back on the scoop and score, and now they're up 2 scores midway through the first quarter, and then you're going to be abandoning the run at this point, and they have you where they want you, where they can pin their ears back and they don't have to defend the run. This is a historically bad. They're on pace to be the second worst rush defense in franchise history. And if you look here, again, in scoring territory, 4th and 1, cough it up again. Huge momentum swing for the Cowboys. Another turnover early in the game. And this Cowboys defense is constructed, this whole team, if you look at how they drafted CeeDee Lamb to add to an already impressive wide receiver core. They have Dak Prescott. They had Zeke Elliott, incredible offensive line. Their entire philosophy of this game was to give Prescott everything that he needed to build leads in games, and they wanted to outscore opponents to protect against their run defense. Because you look at their roster construction with Alden Smith, with DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, and even Jalen Smith, who's a really good pass rusher. He's better of a pass rusher than he is against the run or in coverage. They really wanted to be able to drop 6 and 7 guys in coverage all day, pin their ears back, and come after the quarterback aggressively because they knew that their offense could put points on the board. Now, the injuries to their offense has, halted their ability to put up points in bunches. But on the 3-game win streak, the short fields early in the game, you see here, San Francisco, they were able to force a 3-and-out, and then on the punt, they fumble and give them a short field, and Dallas goes up 7-0. So it's really played into the defense's hands and how the roster was constructed to put points up early and play with leads. Because, as they constructed this team, they put all the resources into their offense, hoping that they could outscore opponents. And now in this 3-game win streak, that's played out. Not as they planned, but they're just getting turnovers. And they deserve a lot of credit for getting those turnovers. And then they deserve a lot of credit for putting the points on the board off of the turnovers. Here, they come right back after they give up the punt fumble. Mullins fails to step up in the pocket. He's in trouble. And DeMarcus Lawrence, again, is able to get his hand on the ball. It's a strip sack, a fumble, another short field. Now it's 14-0. And when it's 14-0, they can play exactly as I said, how they want to play, which is drop 7 in coverage, don't give up any big plays. Their secondary, they didn't put a lot of resources into it after losing Byron Jones. They play a lot of young, inexperienced players back there. They have some talent in the secondary, but ideally they like to protect those guys and drop 7 in coverage. San Francisco, even though they got down early in the game, they did claw their way back into this game. And they got it to 24-24. And late in the game, though, Nick Mullins had to, play real quarterback. And he didn't get to use all that Shanahan trickery off of the run game to make things easier on him. And you see here the Cowboys do exactly that. They drop 7, just a basic rush. And Nick Mullins just stares this guy down. and just throws it right to the safety oncoming. And when he had to make some big boy throws, it really showed that, that's Nick Mullins. But still, they deserve credit. See, it's 24-24. They did not abandon the run in this game. And that's the Cowboys' weakness, to make them defend the run. And credit to Shanahan for not panicking after going down early, with the understanding that it's about at-bats. It's about giving your run game as many at-bats against this defense, hoping that they'll make the mistakes that they've showed they made all year in the run game with eye discipline and gap integrity, which we'll get into. But you see these turnovers are just killer. 24-24, Mullins stares down his guy, and Dallas gets the field goal. And then at this point in the game, you're going to have to throw the ball at some point. You're going to have to make some throws. And again here, they try to run something off of play action. But again, Mullins stares his guy down the whole time. Anthony Brown's able to step in front and take this the other way. They won 4-0 on the turnover scoreboard in this game, and that was the difference. 4 giveaways for San Francisco, and they didn't take it away once. And it's so paramount that you don't shoot yourself in the foot. You have to protect the football in the NFL. And the Cowboys are the prime example of, in their 3-game win streak, how pivotal that's been for them. The Philly game was a little bit different. I thought that was the most impressive game the Cowboys offense has played. Philly actually went up on them early, 14-3. And the Cowboys put together some really impressive drives against Philadelphia's equally, undisciplined unit. But you see here, it's 3rd and 12. There's 6 minutes left in the game, and you're down 13 points. So a field goal at this point pretty much does nothing for you. And you have a young quarterback on 3rd and 12. You understand he's young, he's athletic. He's going to try to get out and make something happen. But you need to understand here that it's 3rd and 12. You're in scoring range. You have 2 plays to get 12 yards. And Jalen Hurts gets desperate here and tries to go for the end zone, get it all in one play, and throws a pretty bad pick in the end zone. And that's some inexperience, but that's something you can't have in these division games, which is what exactly the impact and the stress and the importance of Cowboys-Eagles is exactly what we're going to be facing in Week 17. So all these situations, protecting the football, whether it's early or late, is just huge. And right there, that's a big mistake. And then they were able to get it back. And this time you're really desperate. But you still have a chance to get this into a 1-score game ahead of the 2-minute warning with your 2 timeouts. And here, Hurts again is just going to try to make something happen as he escapes. Then as he gets upfield, he puts it on the ground. And then that's pretty much the ball game. So protecting the football against the Cowboys is paramount. Protecting the football in any NFL game is huge. But to give them those short fields early in the game and let them get up and let their defense not have to defend the run, and your own offense abandon the run, plays right into the construction of this defense. And it takes away the one thing that they are really bad at, which is their run defense is historically bad, and we'll jump into why you need those at-bats against this defense. We've already talked about the Cowboys and their defense forcing turnovers early, giving their offense the short fields and early leads, and how that plays right into their hands. And we'll highlight exactly why. These clips are only from the 3-game winning streak, because that's the games that I chose to study because I felt they were the most relevant. But the kinks in their armor and the run defense have been there all season long, and that's power schemes, counters, zone runs, jet sweeps. It's eye discipline, it's technique, it's alignment. They've really struggled to contain the run game. And it'll show up over and over and over again in these clips. We'll try to run through them as quickly as possible. But you see here that Cincinnati just comes out, basic 1 tight end, a fullback. And Dallas has 1, 2, 3. They have 7 in the box. They roll the safety up top late Xavier Woods. So it's just basic 7 in the box, simple draw play. But you look at Jalen Smith here, he comes down, and you see this a lot of selfish play. What you're doing here, and Van Der Esch also, is guys going around blocks, guys not wanting to sacrifice and take on blocks. So once Jalen Smith is locked up here, he can clearly see where the running back is. To spin off here and to just try to get off of a block for no reason at all, just try to get off a block, is really undisciplined football. And you'll see that come up a lot with a lot of these players. It's just undisciplined football, trying to shoot gaps or work around blocks. You see Van Der Esch there fail to go take his man head on. He tries to jump around this block to make a play. And then that just gives that lane for the running back. We'll run through a lot of these examples. You'll see here, I don't get this on this. You'll see they'll get a stretch run. As they get a stretch run, it's a basic zone blocking scheme where you get some duos. And you got this offensive guard and this offensive guard working up to the 2 linebackers. And then you have a tight end working up to the safety or the extra guy in the box, and then the tackle trying to seal the edge. But the main thing is, on these stretch runs, the only thing they can do out of this backside is like for Brandon Allen to keep here. And normally what you'll have is one of these guys is going to be the guy that maintains this edge. And you watch Jalen Smith, we'll run this in real time. It just feels like he strafes for so long. I don't get that because it feels like just one of these guys should be looking for the bootleg. Either he can stay and then let Randy Gregory just scream down the line and try to catch up to the running back at the point of attack, or Gregory can just always have that contain, and then it's on Jalen Smith to scrape over there. And you see that's the lane that they don't get. You have Sean Lee coming up, taking on his block, albeit a little bit late. He still gets he gets level with him. And ideally, he wants to have his hat right here. And as you run it through, he gets outside of him. He still gets washed up. But if Jalen Smith is a half a step over, right in this gap, that's where he's going. But you see him strafe and strafe for 3 strides, and he never turns to run. Once it's clearly 1, 2, it's like you should be turning and getting downhill to meet him in that gap. And that gives that offensive lineman a chance to come off, get a piece of you. And you'll see that more and more and more as we run through these plays. Here they're going 2 receivers tight with a tight end. Dallas going to go 7 in the box. Again, another stretch. Same thing here. You see DeMarcus Lawrence clearly has this. I mean, he doesn't even move. He just stands up straight. And again, I don't know if it's a coaching point because it shows up consistently. But you look here and look at Jalen just almost fighting this block. I mean, he just doesn't. Never turns and flows and runs. A lot of false stepping, a lot of slow to process. And then also up front, these guys get pushed around quite a bit. You see the center working to 79, and then Aldon Smith out of position at the snap from an alignment standpoint, and somebody's got to talk that up. As he shoots inside, he immediately plays way too high, gets pushed back. There's no penetration. The edge isn't set. And then you got 79 coming down, who does a good job at the point of attack to get a little bit of penetration. But then it's just undisciplined as he just is allowing himself to get washed along with Aldon Smith. Van Der Esch does a good job to chase the ball as they climb to him on the second level. He can get downhill right there. But once again, that gap right there that Jalen should be occupying with DeMarcus Lawrence backside protecting against the boot. Very slow to process and get over, and allows himself to just get washed up. It's a big gain, pretty easy for Cincinnati. Here you go with San Francisco. They're going to get him to the edge. That's just tricky. Typical Shanahan. He's just a problem. I mean, this guy's a genius when it comes to offensive football. And you see they got down 14-0 early, but he understood. First of all, he has to protect Nick Mullins, but second of all, against this Dallas defense, You have to get as many at-bats as you can because they are going to make the mistakes. They've shown it all year. Here they're going to bring 8 in the box, and you like these numbers. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have a hat on a hat here with a fullback to clean up the first other colored jersey. So you already like that. But then the genius of Shanahan and all this motion at the snap that's become so in vogue in the NFL. At the snap, if you get a guy running full speed, now your numbers are even more inflated. So you can get these down blocks and the puller, and now you have a hat on a hat here. You see, there's somebody accounted for all day. Then, to make matters worse, they don't have to block 50 Sean Lee. Look at how undisciplined this is by 92 and 50. As soon as you see and understand that these down blocks are coming here, you know that they have a fullback in. They know they're working to 37. You have 2 lead blocks plus the puller. You know as 92, if you're coached right and the run defense is coached correctly, from the numbers standpoint, that you have more guys inside of you coming this way than you have guys outside of you. So when you see this puller, your job here on the guard is not to shoot inside and try to make this play for yourself. You need to get your hat outside of his hat and attack this hip and get your helmet on this side of his helmet to force back to your help. But instead you get 50 and 92, both squeezing down and just looking at daylight and just trying to attack to make a play. And that makes it easy for Jeff Wilson to pick up more yards than he needs to on a play like this. Good effort to tackle, but still you'll see. And Shanahan knows, and that's what you have to do against this defense. When you drop back and just panic and throw, that's going to give them the opportunity for even more turnovers. Here again, they're going to go 3 tight ends. And then again, get that motion at the snap to get the numbers advantage. Poor play on the edge here. No one's there to set the edge. DeMarcus Lawrence crashes inside, whether that's by design or whether that's by him trying to make a play. Either way, if it's by design, it's poor design. And if it's him being selfish, that's on him. Because again, he's got help coming from the inside. And you'll see Jalen Smith hustle to try to get over there. Tries to leave this blocker. But there's absolutely nobody setting an edge over here. So on the pitch, instead of having to stretch this out and giving an athlete like Jalen Smith a chance to run him down, he's able to turn this corner pretty easily and get upfield. They struggle with this, they struggle with this, they struggle with this. Again here, more of the same with the numbers advantage. And then this time it's Vander Esch on the pulling guard. You'll see the same thing here. Instead of working to help, they've got 2 for 2. And then the help inside. But what you're going to fail to do again is hat placement inside. Vander Esch gets washed up. That's exactly what San Francisco wants you to do. If you attack that outside hip, you can even come in low here and just simply cut this man down and create some traffic for the running back. Now, understood, these guys at the point of attack, 95 here, gets completely washed on this down block. And then Kittle's able to work off of that down block and get up to Smith pretty easily. But once again, Vander Esch understands if he gets his hat outside here, you're severely trying to work everything inside. Good hat placement here to set this edge. But this one man making a mistake, you've got a free guy inside that can scrape over. But no, you dip inside and try to make a play for yourself. And then you got the running back coming downhill. And like I said, sometimes they're going to do this stuff right. But when you show it on film over and over again, it's on the coordinators to understand, hey, we just need cracks. We just need opportunities and get at-bats. And that's impossible when you go down big early in games and you have to abandon that run. That really plays into the Cowboys' hands and allows them to put their pass rushers up here, and then they put their athletic linebackers in the second level. They can leave 2 high safeties to protect against big plays, and they're going to be willing to just come at you, pin their ears back, force bad throws, and protect their secondary with 2 high safeties all day. Again, here, you're going to see multiple breakdowns. Now, I don't know if Alden Smith out here on the edge is coached to do this, and if he is coached to shoot inside. If that's the case, if these guys are slanting inside, then one of 55 and 26, somebody's got to be scraping to replace on that edge. You see, no one does. Vander Esch is super late to process, and at this point, if he's going, he needs to get outside. So 26, Jordan Lewis playing heads up. He's going to peek into the backfield instead of scraping outside, which would make sense with if Alden Smith's dipping inside, unless he's supposed to play here and then let these guys fill and he's getting greedy. Someone's getting greedy peeking in the backfield, because you shouldn't all be getting sealed inside like that. You see Jordan Lewis feeling like he can shoot that and make a play. He can't. Then that leaves his man out to dry, and Vander Esch, instead of attacking that outside hip sacrificially and trying to get out there to force that back inside, instead he shoots it. And then Jeff Wilson's able to get the edge. He's one-on-one with a safety for a big gain. There's more of the same. This one's just a simple pull play to the running back out of shotgun, Jalen Hurts. Simple give. Everyone's working up to that second level quite easily. You see they get a good push on the double team. They get a set of double teams here. And then they work up to the second level linebackers. And then you see again Jalen Smith jumping out of his gap, trying to jump over and around blocks, playing selfishly instead of just carrying this play side and understanding this is your gap, this is Lee's gap. Then Alden Smith can squeeze down, and then you have the secondary players. When you try to jump over this, that's not understanding what you're doing. That's trying to make a play all by yourself out there instead of playing as a team. This one here, I want you to just pay attention to DeMarcus Lawrence. I don't understand. They're going to get counter bash here, which counter bash is basically the left tackle and the left guard are going to pull away from the read option play. This is something the Ravens like to do a lot of when you'll see at the mesh point. So when these two guys pull, you're supposed to be pulling these two. You get a down block here, working up to the linebacker, and then you have 2 pullers. So one for the unblocked DeMarcus Lawrence, and then you have another working up to the second linebacker that they don't climb to. Now see what they do here. Jalen does a good job to shoot this because he's not reading the quarterback and he's not looking at the ball. You're supposed to read these linemen and they'll take you to the football. Now, if he crashes inside reading these and this guy flows over top, you can simply just give this and let him get outside. Gregory stays, so that's the right call by Jalen Hurts to keep. But by the time, this is DeMarcus Lawrence who started on the outside. And he drifts so far inside. The ball right there at the snap, the center is on that hash. And DeMarcus Lawrence flows all the way inside and completely gives up the edge here, where he could be tagging one of these 2 pullers to help out Smith and Lee scraping over the top. But instead, he completely avoids contact and hoping to, I don't know, do what? Maybe shoot inside there and get a tackle for loss. But the right play is to tag one of these pullers, the first one you see. If he just tags this man here, and he's in good position to do so, to squeeze this out, then you can have Jalen working over. But instead of working together, he avoids contact and tries to get in there and shoot. It gets washed up, and then look, Smith has no chance. And then that's just selfish play or just poorly coached contain on the edge there. You'll see again here, we'll just get numbers advantage, motion at the snap, and then that's an easy walk-in touchdown. Here you're going to go play side. and you just look at these splits here with these two, you understand that you have 3 eligible receivers right here with the 2 tight ends and then a receiver. So you're bringing extra people to the party, which is going to naturally bring extra defenders. However, you also have a running back eligible, and you'll have a safety behind you to deal with that bunch. But that alignment right there with 50 and 37, Wilson and Lee so close together, this is going to be pretty easy pickings for these duo blocks. Just run backside where you can work right here, a double team to 78, and then climb. And then you have one here, and then you have the back just trying to outrun these guys. If these splits are a little bit better, and you have Lee positioned right here over the guard, this makes this play a lot easier to defend for the Cowboys. And you see here, both of these guys, again, selfish play. At the snap, there has to be gap integrity. So you see, that's obviously looking enticing for a running back. But that is clearly Sean Lee's gap. And you here as Jalen Smith, this is you. Aldon Smith has the edge. They're going to work up to you, and he's late getting off. So you can shoot this and take this gap and trust your man here to come in and take this away. If you take this away, which would be a lot easier if your split started here, regardless, you can still shoot this. And then Sanders has to either make a choice whether to just put his head down and take what he can get or try to bounce back outside where you have a guy waiting on the read option. But instead, you get 2 guys shooting the same gap, and then Sanders is able to get a lot more positive yards than he would have otherwise. And that's, again, if you get at bats, eventually the batter will make a mistake. And that's the philosophy that you have to take into this game. Be aware of the situations, protect the football at all costs, and try to give your guys a chance to stick with this run game, and then you can play action off of that. That's the best way to attack the Cowboys, is to establish the run. Even if it doesn't work all the time, give your guys more at-bats at the run game. And then once you show that enough, that play action will open up. And the worst thing you can do against them is try to dink and dunk off of that play action. You need to try to be aggressive down the field. They don't really want to put their corners and their secondary players in those positions down the field. They're susceptible to those big plays. What you can't do is let them be successful early in the game and early in the downs and get you in those 3rd and 10s with stupid penalties and negative plays where they can pin their ears back and really help their secondary out. We'll go through a couple of examples of our run game from the first matchup. Two very different teams at this point in the season, but still, from an alignment standpoint, a technique standpoint, we'll see how we were able to attack them in the run game and have some success. Here's early in the game, you can see that we scouted this up and understood that when we showed them this 2 tight end look and then put a receiver tight to the formation, that we understood how they would align and go 4 and 4, meaning that they're going to put their secondary player with 2 down linemen and then play that weak side backer pretty close to the center so he can shade to the strong side. Now, I'd expect them to understand out of this alignment, if they go study this film, that this is key to being that we're running opposite and we're going to pull opposite of the strong side of the formation. But what this allowed us to do is really isolate exactly who we're going to isolate, which is that weak side backer. And you'll see here, you're going to get a pull from 70 Zeitler, and then 82 backside is Caden Smith, who's also going to pull. And you're going to get a set of down blocks. Boom, there. So then you get a down block from Gates. These two are supposed to be working a double team, which doesn't even really need to materialize. So Thomas can work his way up. And then you have the pullers, 2 pullers coming to hit the first thing they see. They're going to leave DeMarcus Lawrence on block and let Zeitler go and clean that up. They're going to have Thomas working this double team. It's a great down block and work up to the strong side backer. And then you're isolating Caden Smith coming downhill against Jalen Smith on the first play of the game. And then this was here all day. And we went back to this and back to this. In fact, a lot of these are going to look like the exact same play. You'll see what the Giants did here. And yes, definitely expect the Cowboys to study this and then understand what we did to them. And then here, this is what we do again. We're going to show 3 receivers, and then you're going to bring the slot guy over in motion. And as soon as you see Jalen Smith travel with him, you see Daniel Jones get out of this. So now you understand, okay, they vacated that spot, so just run right to it. Get down blocks, pull that guard, ISO the backer, and get what you want out of this. And that's good job recognizing by Daniel Jones, but also the Cowboys have to see that alignment and check out of this to replace here and call some type of zone against what we're doing. But instead they stay man, and then they're going to give us these free yards. Fleming really should be working up to this guy. But he knows that the puller is the guy responsible for him. So he comes to down block, no one's there, and then he's just working up to hit the first thing he sees. And then Ratley down here, or I'm sorry, that's Tate, knowing that he has Jalen Smith one-on-one because he traveled with him. He's just going to block him by bluffing a route and completely take him out of the play. And you get a pretty big gain out of that. Again here, this is the same look. 2 tight ends. Then you bring the receiver tight to the formation. Again, you're ISOing this backside linebacker. This time they don't bring extra people to the party. They stay too high. No receiver to this boundary. You love your numbers here. Right at the snap, you have 3 to this side. You have 3 to this side. Plus you're bringing a puller. So again, you get unblocked. 70 come to clean up unblocked. You get these 2 working up to the second level. Then you get 82 ISO'd here. He bluff blocks to go get the safety. And you run right off of Caden Smith. Good 7-8 yard gain. I promise this isn't the exact same play. You can tell because this isn't Jalen Smith. But once again, 2 tight ends. Bring this receiver over, tight to the formation. Who you ISOing? Exactly the same thing. Unblocked man on the end line of scrimmage. Receiver releasing up. Get a seal. So this time he understands that this guy played tighter. So normally he'd be working up and looking for something up here to block. And then understanding that 82 is going to come around to ISO on this linebacker. But this time, since they bumped the safety inside, once he leaves this man unblocked, he'll just try to get a seal. Thomas again working down here, over. And then 82 again. He misses this block. I think Gallman can do a better job this time reading. Once this guy's hat's inside, that's your gap. Regardless, 82 misses the block. But you're still able to get some positive yards out of that. And you'll take 6-7 yards off a run play anytime you can get it. I promise this isn't the exact same play. But everything is exactly the same alignment. Unblocked. Work up. Second level. Down blocks. Pull. ISO. You see Andrew Thomas. He's working to this linebacker. This guy's taking the unblocked. 82's coming. ISO against the weak side. Andrew Thomas. Backside. Unblocked. ISO. Receiver. Left him unblocked. Worked up to the second level. Perfect. Good block by Smith. And then Gallman, put your head down and get what you can. Another time here. You'd like to see Gallman's vision. Once you see him cut outside, instead of turning that up, understand you have daylight up here. You can put your foot in the ground, but I understand that Wayne Gallman is going to put his head down, make a decision, and then just go with everything he's got. And I can't hate on that. It's good positive yards. This one here is out of shotgun, but it's a very similar concept in that you're ISOing with that backside guard and a puller onto that linebacker. So here you get the down block from the left guard, Hernandez. Good down block, doesn't get beat outside. Thomas, just a heads up block. Smith, good hat placement inside and way to get inside of his pads. You see your inside there. Thomas is square with good leverage, a good tight pull here to the linebacker, and a good down block. That's really, really well done. Really, really well done. And then Nick Gates just coming over looking for some work on DeMarcus Lawrence. Then get skinny, get downhill, and get every yard you can out of that. It's good work. It's good work. And you see the at-bats. The at-bats are everything in this. Then here you've seen a couple times that they're susceptible to some outside trickery and some jet sweeps. And this, you just lull them asleep. We've been bringing motion a lot in this game, and then just motioning whoever and then putting them tight to the formation. This time, surprise them with a quick snap and then just give to Ingram. And he's catching at full speed, getting outside. He actually scored on this earlier in the game. I didn't choose to put that one in here. But you see, it's really no secret. If you're the Giants, Daniel Jones, protect the football is always part of the plan, but it's more important than ever in these big divisional games to protect the football at all times. The Cowboys have been making a living off of capitalizing on turnovers, getting a lot of turnovers, giving their offense short fields, and then protecting themselves from having to play as much run defense as they normally would have to play in a tight game or a game where they're losing, because the offense isn't able to get as many at-bats against this run defense. And credit to the Cowboys for forcing all of those turnovers, and credit to the Cowboys offense for capitalizing on those turnovers. But that's one way for sure to lose this game, is to let them to continue to live in that +2, +3 life as a football team. And it doesn't matter whether it's late in the game, early in the game. When you get down in that red area, you have to protect the football at all times. And against Dallas, this offense, we have to get as many at-bats. I can't emphasize it enough. No matter how we choose to run the ball, we need to commit to running the ball and giving our offensive linemen a chance to work against their second-level defenders and their very poor eye discipline and gap integrity, and give our running backs a chance to get into a rhythm against that. And then off of that, you can work the passing game. Instead of having them pin their ears back, you can make them peek into the backfield, which helps your pass protection, and it gives your quarterback that extra second and your receivers that extra second to get the separation they need downfield, which I think we need to threaten downfield with outlets built in underneath instead of run all those stick routes that we've ran consistently. I will link up another video explaining how that's progressed throughout the year. Several videos I've made already about the Jason Garrett offense and the improvements that we've seen in the philosophy and design and Daniel Jones' own growth within that system and his processing of that system. And this is a big game for him to really take that step and show that off. And if you guys stick around on this channel, you should go check out those videos to see exactly how it all ties together. And I'll link those videos up in this one. I know that 2020 was hard enough and we're eager to turn the page on it, but I had to run it back one time to just show the importance of not giving the opponent opportunity after opportunity, and how big every play is in the NFL, and how the good teams don't beat themselves. Here we're going to try to go play action early in the game. Andrew Thomas is going to get beat outside and they're going to bring a corner blitz. So this is a good job by the Cowboys. And Wayne Gallman's trying to get over late to help. So this play's dead in the water. Understood. But to make matters worse, to try to keep it alive, you have to learn when to step up and you have to learn when the play is over. Instead, we put it on the ground. We've seen that too much in number 8's career. And that's a 7-point swing. There's 7 points. You're hand feeding them. Great play. Your tackle got beat. Andrew Thomas, He's had a lot of that this year, but I really do think that that kid's going to be a really good player for us for a long time. And if you chronicle all the games he's played this year, there's just so much to be encouraged about, and there's so much that he's improved week to week. And I really think that he will put it all together and be a perennial, Pro Bowler, if not that level, but he'll be a quality left tackle for us for a long time. I feel a lot better about that than most people when you watch the film. Andrew Thomas is a very good football player. Here is one that just really stings. We call an awesome play. The play before this, Evan Ingram snuck on the field, which was really awesome by Joe Judge and Thomas McGahee to dial this up. It works to perfection, obviously, but Cam Fleming isn't set at the snap, so they call this one back, and we settle for a field goal. So that's 4-point swing here. This one up here, they're going to run. You see, you're going to see Slayton right here inside, and then you're going to get a pick that they're going to call. I kind of felt like this was within 5 yards, where there's not supposed to be this call within 5 yards, but that's not consistent either. They don't always honor that rule. You see the pick here. That's well within the first 5 yards of the play. Or, I'm sorry, 1 yard. 1 yard is the rule on the pick play. I'm sorry. Yes, it's 1 yard. So I felt like this was 5 yards for illegal contact, but it's 1 yard off the ball. You can have a pick play. And I feel like that qualifies. But regardless, they threw that, and that took 4 points off the board. We settled for another field goal. So, that's 4, and then 7. That's a 15-point swing. I know football doesn't work that way. I know that you can't just add those up. But the point is of beating yourself, whether that's penalties, whether that's just not being focused, whether that's ball security, everything that we've covered up to this point of getting at-bats in the running game, staying ahead of the sticks, giving your quarterback, giving your offense, giving your play caller all the plays at his disposal, and forcing this Cowboys defense, basically giving them the opportunity to make mistakes that they've shown they will make all year long. Now, they're coming into this game with the exact opposite approach. They're saying, turnover-heavy quarterback, let's force him to make those turnovers. We've been doing it for 3 games straight. Let's go for more. So they're going to come in aggressive. So if we can stay in the game, we can stay committed to that run, we can catch them being aggressive and hit them playing selfishly, playing to jump and trying to make big plays happen because they're a big play defense. That's what they want to do. But if you can grind with them and you can make it ugly and you can execute up front, eventually they're going to make some mistakes up front to give you a chance to get positive yards in that run game. All of that goes away if you turn the ball over when you get opportunities to score, when you get near the red zone, or if you turn the ball over early in the game and just give their offense an opportunity to have a really short field and they just need 1 or 2 plays to get on the scoreboard. So didn't break down a lot of their stuff defensively in the secondary. Basically, they want at all costs to protect those guys, and they try to keep too high as much as they can, which plays into their bad run defense. But outside of Trayvon Diggs, they have a lot. I mean, I think he's a really talented player, really good corner. They miss Byron Jones a lot, but Trayvon Diggs is going to be a very good player in this league. And the rest of the guys, they're susceptible to mistakes on that back end. And you can get some big plays against them, but you have to let them make those mistakes. The worst thing you can do against the Cowboys is try to force it because they're going to be equally aggressive. You have to stay in the game and jab with them in the middle of the ring and let them make the mistakes and counter against them and be ready to capitalize on the opportunities without shooting yourself in the foot with stupid penalties and stupid mental errors. And I really think that that is the mark of football. And I think that that is most football games, but especially with bad teams or even with good teams when they're equally matched. Football really does come down to when you study it and break it down. It's not who imposes their will and who goes super hard as much as everybody wants football to be about that. Football is a story. Every game is, a war. And you could write a novel on every football game. There's that much intrigue to it. There's that much nuance. There's that many chapters to it, and momentum swings and drama. But really, what it's about when you break it down at the end of the day is who made the fewest mistakes and who hurt themselves the most and left themselves least susceptible to mistakes, while still strategically putting their guys in the best advantage to take advantage of the mistakes that you're banking on the opponent making based on strategy and studying. And I think that all comes into play as we go into tomorrow in this win or go home scenario. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's week 17, Cowboys Giants for the division. Like, I'm just assuming Washington's going to lose. That's how they got to play. Just assume Washington's going to lose. And even if they don't, this game still just means everything. It's a big day for everybody. There's a lot on the line for a lot of guys, whether it's pride, whether it's just good feelings going into the end of the year, whether it's good tape, and it could mean another game. And as both teams go into the offseason, this matters. We see each other every year. This game matters. No matter what you say, this is Giants Cowboys week 17 for the division. So let's go get it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as you watch tomorrow. Hopefully you can digest it in a different way and you gain something out of this. But regardless of that, man, let's go get this W. You know what I'm saying? We came all this way. We might as well finish strong. Everybody's got to be all in, locked in every snap. And let's go get this dub. Go Giants. All right. Peace.